How did one birthday surprise for my lover end with a process server walking into my office lobby and saying my full name? Why did my husband look calm in the elevator reflection while I stood there holding divorce papers like they were a parking ticket? What did he file that made my bank app show account restricted before I even got back to my desk? My name is Lavinia Whateley, and I used to think I was a patient wife. I worked hard. I kept our home running. I did the school forms and the meal plans. I told myself I carried the whole feeling part of our marriage on my back. Ethan did not yell. He did not hit walls. He did not do any big scary thing. That was the problem, in my opinion. He stayed calm all the time, like calm was a shield. When I spoke about love, he spoke about plans. When I spoke about my needs, he spoke about numbers. That Tuesday evening, I stood in our kitchen and watched him tap his laptop. The light from the screen made his face look pale. He asked if I could sit and talk. I said I was tired. He said it would take 2 minutes. I sat anyway because I did not want to look guilty. He pointed at a simple budget sheet. He asked where the savings went last month. I said it went to life, like it always does. He asked why there was a new transfer he did not recognize. I said it was a work thing, and it would be fixed. He asked why my answer was always work now. I said he was being dramatic. He said we had plans for that savings. He said we talked about it after Noah was born. He said we agreed it was for emergencies and for the kids. I said he treated me like a child with an allowance. He asked how that was fair. I said fairness was not his strong side. Mila sat at the table with her homework. She did not look up, but she listened. Noah pushed a toy car along the floor and made a soft engine sound. I felt heat rise in my face. I hated that Ethan could ask one calm question and make me feel like a thief in my own kitchen. I told Ethan he always ruined the mood. I said he could not just let me breathe. He asked what breathe meant. I said it meant not being questioned like a suspect. He said he was not accusing me, he was asking. I told him asking was the same as accusing when his eyes looked like that. He said he was tired too. He said he did not want to fight. He asked if we could just agree to pause big spending. I said I did not spend big, I only spent what I needed to feel normal. He asked what I needed that cost so much. I said he would not understand because he never needed anything except control. That word worked, control, it always worked. It made him pause. It made him look down for a second. I felt a small win in my chest, like I had pushed him back into his place. He asked if I was unhappy with him. I said I was unhappy with the way he acted. He asked what he could change. I said he could stop watching me. He said he was not watching me. He was watching the account. I said that was the same thing. He picked up his mug and walked to the sink. He rinsed it slowly, like he was washing his thoughts. He said he would talk later. I said fine. I watched him set his mug on the left side of the counter instead of the right. I noticed it even then. Later that night, my phone buzzed while I brushed my teeth. It was a message from Sloane Mercer. She asked if I was free for coffee the next day. I said yes right away. I wanted a witness. I wanted someone to tell me I was right. At work the next morning, I moved through my day like I was in a play. I smiled at my coworkers. I answered emails. I did my reports. But my mind kept going back to Ethan's calm face and his little questions. I told myself he was trying to trap me. I told myself he was making me small on purpose. Around lunch, I went to the co-working cafe near our office. It had long tables and loud music and the smell of cinnamon. Sloane was already there with a laptop open and a perfect drink with foam art. She looked up and made a sad face, like she was ready to hear a tragedy. She asked how I was doing. I said I was surviving. She asked if Ethan was still on his money thing. I said yes, and I said it was getting worse. She asked what he did now. I said he questioned me about savings, like I could not be trusted. She said that sounded controlling. I said it was controlling. I said he wanted to hold me down with budgets. Sloane said I deserved softness. She said I worked too hard to be treated like a problem. She said men like Ethan hide behind responsibility when they really want power. I nodded because that story felt clean. It made me the hero. She asked if Ethan ever made me feel wanted anymore. I said not really. I said he acted like affection was a task. She asked if I had anyone who made me feel seen. I looked at my phone and did not answer at first. She smiled like she already knew. I told her there was someone who listened to me. I said it was just talking. I said it was harmless. She asked if talking made me happy. I said yes. She said then it was not wrong, it was healing. I liked that word, healing. It sounded like a doctor's note for bad choices. Sloane asked what Ethan would do if he knew. I said he would act like a victim. I said he would try to make me look evil. She said I should control the story first. She said people believe the confident person. I said respect follows results, and I had results. Sloane laughed and lifted her cup like a toast. She said I was finally waking up. When I went back to the office, I saw Ethan's name pop up on my phone. He asked if I could transfer money for Mila's school fee. I wrote that I would do it after work. He asked if I could do it now so the payment would not be late. I wrote that he was stressing me out. He wrote that he only wanted it done today. I wrote that he could handle it if it mattered so much. That was the thing about Ethan. He handled things. He did not beg. He did not chase. He went quiet and did the practical step. I used to think that was mature. Now it felt like a threat, even though he never said one. That evening at home, I walked in and saw him at the dining table with his laptop again. The kids were in the living room watching cartoons. He looked up and asked how my day was. I said fine. He asked if I could sit for a minute. I said I was hungry. He said he made pasta, and it was on the stove. I sat because I wanted to prove I was not scared of a conversation. He turned his screen slightly toward me. I saw a blank spreadsheet with columns and dates, no title, just rows. He asked if I remembered our savings goal. I said yes. He asked if I saw the balance this week. I said I did not check. He asked if I could check now. I picked up my phone and opened the bank app. My stomach tightened. I closed it fast and said the app was acting weird. He asked what I meant. I said it froze. He said he could check from his side. I said no, because I was tired of being monitored. He looked at me for a long moment, not angry, just steady. Then his phone buzzed on the table. The screen lit up for 1 second. I saw a bank app notification preview with a number and the word transfer. I did not see the full details, but I saw enough to feel cold. Ethan reached for his phone and turned it face down. He did it smoothly, like a habit. He asked again if I wanted to talk. I smiled and told him he was being paranoid. He did not answer. He only nodded once, like he was putting something in a box in his mind. I stood up and said I would take a shower. He said, okay. As I walked away, I told myself that notification meant nothing. I told myself he was the one hiding things, not me. And I kept walking, like I did not see it at all. The next day, I told myself I needed a clean reset. I woke up early and acted sweet on purpose. I made oatmeal for the kids. I packed Mila's lunch with the little note she liked. I kissed Noah's head and told him he was my brave boy. I did these things like they were proof I was a good person. Ethan came into the kitchen and saw the food. He said thank you in a flat voice. He asked if we could talk later. I said yes and smiled like we were fine. He looked at the counter and at his mug on the left side again. Then he picked it up and walked away with it. He did not touch me. He did not ask where I went last night. He did not ask anything, and that silence made me feel watched. At work, I tried to focus on my tasks. I had a campaign report due. I had a client email chain that would not end. Still, my phone felt heavy in my pocket. When it buzzed, my chest always jumped first. I did not like that my body reacted before my mind did. Jace Holland texted me around mid-morning. He asked if I was still coming by after work. He said the car might be gone by the weekend. He said someone else had serious interest. I knew he was pushing me, but I liked being pushed by him. It made me feel like I mattered. I wrote that I would come. He wrote that he could keep it on hold for me if I showed commitment. I asked what commitment meant. He said it meant a deposit today, not next week. I told him I would see what I could do. I stared at the message and felt a strange calm. It was like a door opened in my mind. I told myself that love needs action. I told myself Ethan never did big actions anymore. I told myself I was done waiting for scraps. At lunch, I went out to my car and opened the bank app again. My thumb hovered. I looked around like someone might see me through the windshield. I could hear Sloane's voice in my head, saying confident people control the story. I could also hear Ethan's calm question, asking where the savings went. I hated that question. I told myself the savings were not his, not really. I told myself I worked too. I told myself I carried the kids' schedules and the home load, and that should count as money. I told myself I was buying happiness, and happiness was an emergency. I moved a large amount from the savings to my checking. The screen showed a confirmation. I felt a sharp thrill, then a small sick twist. I swallowed it down. I said in my head that I had reasons, and reasons are what adults have. Back upstairs, I acted normal. I laughed at a coworker's joke. I answered a call with a bright voice. I kept my shoulders relaxed. I was proud of myself for being able to wear two faces. Near the end of the day, Ethan texted again about Mila's school fee. He asked if I had time to transfer it. I wrote that I was slammed at work. He wrote that he could pay it, but he wanted to keep the plan clean. I wrote that he cared more about clean plans than real life. He wrote okay. That was it. One small word, and I felt like he was building a wall. After work, I drove to the dealership. The building was bright and cold, with shiny floors and big posters of smiling families. I saw Jace by the desk, leaning like he owned the place. He looked good in that setting. He looked like a man with options. He asked if I had a hard day. I said yes, and I said nobody understood me. He said he understood. He said I deserved someone who made me feel alive. I told him that was what I wanted. I told myself I was telling the truth. He walked me to the car. It was new and loud-looking, with a color that screamed for attention. He opened the door and said I should sit inside. I sat, and the inside smelled like plastic and money. I touched the steering wheel and felt like I was touching a future. Jace asked if I could see him in it. I said yes. He asked if I wanted to be the reason he got it. I said yes again. I heard myself agreeing and thought, this is what being chosen feels like. We went back inside. He brought up numbers on a screen and spoke fast. He asked what I was comfortable with. I said I wanted it simple. He said simple meant paying up front and avoiding interest. He said interest was for people who could not commit. That line hit me the wrong way and the right way at the same time. I did not want to be someone who could not commit. I did not want to look weak in front of him, so I asked how much to pay in full. He looked at me like I was a hero. He said it was generous. He said it was rare. He said it was proof I was different from other women who only talked. I felt my spine straighten. I made the payment. I did it in steps because the app had limits, and the clerk had to retry the transaction. Jace stayed close and kept his hand near my elbow. He asked if I was sure. I said I was sure. I said I wanted to do one thing in my life that felt bold. When it was done, Jace's face changed. He looked lighter. He kissed my forehead like I was a prize. He said he would never forget it. He said I was saving him. I told him he was saving me too. On the drive home, I kept replaying the confirmation screen in my mind. The number was real. The money was gone. I told myself money always comes back. I told myself Ethan could make more. I told myself I was buying an investment, loyalty, attention, warmth. At home, the kids were in the living room. Ethan was at the dining table again. He looked up and asked how work went. I said it was stressful. He asked if I ate dinner. I said not yet. He asked if I could check the school fee now. I said I would do it later. He asked why later was always the answer. I said he was being intense. He said he was trying to keep things on track. I said the track was his obsession, not mine. He nodded like he was done trying to convince me. He said he would pay the fee himself. I said fine. I said he loved paying for things because it made him feel important. He did not respond to that. After the kids went to bed, I went to the hallway and heard a faint sound from the study. It was a small mechanical hum, like a shredder or a tight fan. Then it stopped. I walked past the door and saw a thin line of light under it. Ethan came out a minute later with his phone in his hand. He asked if I needed something. I said I was getting water. He said okay and walked to the kitchen. I followed and watched him from behind. He opened a drawer, then closed it with a careful click. I stared at his hands and felt annoyed. He was not supposed to be careful. He was supposed to be emotional. If he stayed calm, my story did not work. He asked if we were still going to the family dinner this weekend. I said yes. He said okay. He said he would pick up a gift for his parents. I said he could do whatever he wanted. Later, when he went upstairs, I opened my phone and looked at Jace's last message. He had sent a photo of the car keys in his palm. He wrote that he felt like a king. I smiled and wrote back that he deserved it. Then I looked at the bank app again and saw the new balance. I felt a small panic rise. I pushed it down and told myself Ethan would not notice right away. I turned off the screen and lay in bed, listening to the house. In the dark, I could still smell faint toner, like a printer had been used somewhere, even though I did not see any paper. I told myself it was nothing. I told myself Ethan was the kind of man who only did spreadsheets. And I told myself spreadsheets could never beat a woman who knew how to talk. The weekend dinner came fast. I told myself it was perfect timing. Ethan would be in a room full of witnesses. If he tried to act like the hero, people would see the truth. I dressed with extra care. I chose a tight black sweater and clean boots. I did my hair like I was going to a photo shoot, not a family meal. Ethan did not comment. He helped Mila find her other shoe. He tied Noah's jacket and asked if he needed the bathroom before we left. He spoke to the kids like his voice was the only stable thing in the house. I watched him and felt angry for no clear reason. I wanted him messy. I wanted him loud. I wanted him to give me something I could point at. On the drive, I looked at my phone and saw Jace's name pop up again. He asked if I was still coming by later. He said he wanted to show the car off somewhere public. I wrote that I had family dinner first. He wrote that I should bring energy, not excuses. I smiled at that, even though it was rude. It felt like attention. We met Ethan's parents at a family restaurant with a long booth. The place was noisy and warm, with clinking glasses and loud birthdays in other corners. Sloane came too, even though it was not really her place. I said it was fine because I wanted backup. Denise and Grant arrived a little later, and my sister Tara came as well. It turned into a crowd, and crowds can be useful. Ruth hugged the kids first. Mark asked Ethan about work. Ethan answered politely. He asked Tara how she was doing, and he thanked Grant for coming. He acted like a normal man. I hated how normal he looked. When the server came, Ethan asked for water. I ordered wine. Denise ordered wine too, and laughed as if it was already a party. Sloane leaned close to me and asked if I was okay. I said I was great. I said I felt free lately. She smiled like that was the point. Ethan looked at me and asked if I wanted to talk later, privately. I said there was nothing to talk about. He asked if I could at least be kind tonight. I said kindness goes both ways, and I had been kind for years. He looked down and did not answer. Once food came, the table relaxed. That was my moment. I started small, like soft cuts. I talked about how hard it is to be married to a man who treats emotions like a math test. I said some people think love is a checklist. Denise laughed and asked who would live like that. I said it was exhausting. Mark asked what I meant gently. I said I meant that some men can provide money but cannot provide warmth. Ruth's face tightened. Ethan kept chewing and did not look up. Sloane made a little sound of agreement, like a supporter in a crowd. Ethan asked me, quietly, if we could not do this here. I said I was only talking. I said nobody was allowed to speak truth in this family without someone calling it disrespect. He asked what truth I was trying to say. I said the truth was that I had carried the relationship, and he had carried his spreadsheets. Tara looked at me and asked if we could change the topic. I said no, because my life was the topic. Denise said Tara was always too serious. Grant stared at his plate. He did not like conflict, but he also did not stop it. Ethan's mother asked if we were having problems. I said we were having a growth moment. I said Ethan was struggling with my independence. Ethan set his fork down and asked what independence meant. I said it meant I did not need permission to breathe. He asked why I kept using that word. I said because he kept holding me underwater. He did not raise his voice. He asked if I wanted counseling. I said counseling is for couples who both want to change. I said he liked his role too much. He asked what role. I said the role of judge. Sloane jumped in and said that men like Ethan can make a woman feel guilty for having needs. Ethan looked at her and asked who she was to speak for our marriage. Sloane said she was my friend and she cared. Ethan said okay, then asked the server for the check for the kids' meals, like he was trying to end it without a scene. That calm move made me feel smaller than yelling would have, so I pushed harder. I lifted my glass and made a little toast. I said I hoped everyone at the table could learn that love is not control. I said I hoped people could learn to stop counting pennies and start counting feelings. Denise raised her glass. Sloane raised hers too. A couple of people at the next table even glanced over, because I was loud on purpose. Ethan asked me to lower my voice. I said he was embarrassed because the truth was out. He said he was not embarrassed of truth. He was embarrassed of cruelty. I laughed and said cruelty was his silent treatment at home. He asked what silent treatment, and I said the kind where he looks through me like I am a bill. Mila stared at her plate. Noah played with a straw wrapper. Ruth reached for Mila's hand and squeezed it. Tara looked like she wanted to disappear. Ethan's jaw tightened, but he did not snap. He told the kids they could have dessert, and he asked them what flavor they wanted. He acted like he could hold the family together with napkins and calm words. After dinner, I walked outside first. The air was cold and sharp. Sloane followed and asked if I wanted to do it now. I said yes. I said I wanted Ethan to see what bold looks like. Jace had parked nearby, just around the side of the lot. The car looked like a bright piece of candy under the streetlights. He stood beside it like a model. When he saw me, he smiled wide. He asked if I brought an audience. I said yes, because I wanted him to feel proud. He said he felt proud already. He asked if Ethan was coming. I said he would. I signaled everyone over. Denise came quickly. Grant came slower. Tara stayed back with the kids. Ruth and Mark paused, unsure. Ethan came last. His face was blank, but his eyes were alert. Jace lifted the keys and said, indirectly through his tone, that this was the best gift anyone ever gave him. He asked if I was the reason he got this dream. I said yes. I said I believed in people who wanted more from life. Sloane filmed it. She asked me to stand near the hood and smile. I did. Jace put his arm around my shoulders like he owned the moment. Ethan asked very quietly what this was. I said it was a surprise. He asked for whom. I said for someone who actually appreciates me. Ethan asked how I paid for it. I said it was none of his business. He asked if the money came from our savings. I said those savings were just numbers sitting still, and I turned them into something real. He asked if I understood what I did. I said I understood that I was done living small. Denise told Ethan he should be happy for me. She said I finally looked alive. Ruth told Denise to stop. Denise asked why she should. Ruth said the children were here. Denise said the children should see their mother happy. Tara asked me to think about Mila's face. I told Tara not to guilt me. Ethan did not argue back. He looked at the car, then at me, then at the kids. He asked Mila if she was cold and if she wanted her hat. Mila nodded without speaking. Ethan took off his coat and put it around her shoulders. Then he asked Noah to hold his hand. Ethan asked me one last time, calmly, if I was willing to talk at home like adults. I said I already talked, and he never listened. He nodded once, like he was saving the moment somewhere inside. As everyone drifted back toward their cars, Sloane posted the video right away. She tagged me. She added a caption about choosing yourself. I liked it. I shared it. I told myself that public proof would protect me. At home later, Ethan walked past me without touching me. He went to the dining table and opened his laptop. I saw a small pop-up on the screen for 1 second. It was a cloud sync notice and it said, "File uploaded successfully." He closed the laptop as I entered the room, like he had done it many times. I went upstairs and stared at myself in the mirror. I practiced the face I would wear if anyone questioned me. Calm, certain, right. Downstairs, I heard Ethan open a drawer and close it with a soft click, careful and final. The next week felt different, like the air in the house changed. Ethan still woke up early. He still made coffee. He still packed Noah's snack cup without being asked. But he stopped reacting to me. That was the first thing I noticed. In the kitchen, our mugs stayed on opposite sides of the counter. Mine was near the window. His was near the sink. It looked childish, but it also looked final. I told myself he was doing it to punish me. I told myself he wanted me to beg. I did not beg. I doubled down. On Monday morning, I said we should talk like adults. He asked what I wanted to say. I said I wanted him to admit he drove me to this. He asked what this meant. I said the distance, the coldness, the way I felt invisible. He said he heard me, but he would not accept blame for my choices. I told him he was twisting words. He said he was not twisting anything. He was being clear. That word made me angry. Clear. Like he had the right to be clear. At work, I waited for him to send a long message. He did not. He only texted about pickup times and lunch boxes. He asked if I could take Mila to school on Wednesday because he had an early meeting. I wrote that I could, and I added a comment about how nice it was that he finally had time for meetings, now. He did not reply to that part. Wednesday came, and I went to the school pickup line after work. The line moved slowly, and parents stared at their phones. I saw a woman from Mila's class glance at me, then glance away. My cheeks warmed. I knew Sloane's video was still online. I knew people talk in small circles like it is a hobby. Mila walked out with her backpack and her hair messy from the day. She got into the car and asked if Dad was coming too. I said he was busy. She asked if Dad was mad. I said Dad was stressed because he worries too much. She asked if we were still a family. I said yes, and I said families change and grow. Mila looked out the window like she did not understand my words. As we waited in the line to exit, I saw Ethan's car parked on the street in front, not in the usual school lot. It was pointed toward the road like it was ready to go. That detail bothered me. Ethan liked his routines. He liked the same parking spot, the same route, the same time. A small change like that felt like a decision. At home, I put snacks on the table for the kids. Ethan came in 10 minutes later. He did not look tired. He looked focused. He asked Mila about her day. She said it was fine. He asked if anyone bothered her. She said some kids asked about the video. He asked what she told them. She said she told them she did not know. I waited for him to look at me with anger. He did not. He only nodded once and said he was sorry she had to deal with that. I told him it was not a big deal. He asked how it was not a big deal when our child felt embarrassed. I said kids tease about everything. He said this was avoidable. I said he was blaming me again. He said he was naming reality. After dinner, Ethan went into the study. I followed him, not quietly. I wanted him to know I was not afraid. He was at the desk with his laptop open. I saw a plain spreadsheet with dates again. No title, no big words, just neat lines. Beside it, there was a folder on the corner of the desk with a simple label, Household. Another folder was half under it, and I could read Bank. It felt too organized. It felt like he was sorting me into parts. He asked what I needed. I said I needed to know why he was acting strange. He asked what strange meant. I said the silence, the calm, the way he watched everything. He said he was not watching me. He was watching patterns. I asked what patterns. He said spending, schedules, and what the children hear. I said he sounded like a robot. He reached into a drawer and took out a sticky note, then put it back fast like he remembered I was there. I saw only 2 words. Bring forms. I pretended I did not see it. I did not want him to think I cared. He asked if I was planning to keep seeing Jace. I said I could see whoever I wanted. He asked if I understood what that did to the children. I said the children were fine, and I said he was using them like a weapon. He said he was protecting them, not using them. I laughed. I said protection was his favorite excuse for control. His phone vibrated on the desk. The screen showed no caller ID. He looked at it, then turned it face down. He did not answer. He did not explain. I felt a twist of fear, and I hated myself for it. The next day was Sunday, and we went to my parents' house for dinner. Denise planned it like she planned everything: food, seating, mood. She wanted the family to look normal in pictures. She wanted me to look like the brave daughter with a difficult husband. At the table, Denise told a story about me as a child, how I always knew what I wanted. She said some husbands cannot handle strong women. Ethan smiled politely and asked for the salt. Denise asked him why he was so quiet lately. He said he was focusing on the children and on stability. Denise said stability was just a pretty word for control. Grant cleared his throat and asked everyone to eat. Tara arrived late with a tired face. She pulled me aside in the hallway and asked if I really used the savings for that car. I said it was complicated. She asked if Ethan agreed. I said Ethan would never agree to anything that made me happy. Tara said this was not about happiness. This was about trust and the kids. I told her she was acting like Ethan's lawyer. She said she was acting like an aunt. Back at the table, Ethan's mother, Ruth, called Mila on video. Ruth asked if Mila wanted to come over next weekend and bake cookies. Mila said yes in a small voice. Denise heard and rolled her eyes. She asked why Ruth always tried to take over. Ethan said Ruth was offering support, not taking over. Denise said support is what you call it when you want access. Ethan did not argue. He did not raise his voice. He looked at Mila and Noah and asked if they wanted to show Grandpa their drawings. The kids ran to get paper. While they were gone, Ethan asked me calmly if we could stop posting about our private life. I said I could post whatever I wanted. He asked if I could at least stop tagging people who did not consent. I said consent was a funny word from a man who controlled our money. He looked down at his plate and said he was not going to debate in front of my parents. After dinner, as we put on coats, I saw the guest bed in my parents' spare room. The blanket was slightly pulled back, like someone had sat there earlier. Tara stood near the doorway, and her eyes met mine for a second. She looked away fast. I wondered who had been in that room and why. I told myself it was nothing. On the drive home, Ethan kept both hands on the wheel. I asked if he was planning something. He asked what I meant. I said he was acting like he had a secret. He said he was planning for the children, because someone had to. I said I planned too. He asked what I planned. I said I planned to live. At home, he carried Noah inside and put him to bed. Then he went to the kitchen and ran the printer. It spit out one blank page, then stopped. He stared at it for a moment, then threw it away without a word. The quiet in that moment felt louder than our fights. I went upstairs and lay awake, listening to him move around downstairs. I heard a drawer close with a careful click. I heard a soft beep, like a recording app starting, then stopping. I told myself I imagined it. Still, my stomach did not believe me. The community center event was on a Friday evening. It was a winter fair for the kids, with lights and cheap music and tables full of cookies. I liked it because people watched each other there. Parents acted friendly, but they also collected stories like coins. I told myself I would walk in smiling, and everyone would see I was fine. I told myself Ethan would look stiff next to me, and that would prove my point. Ethan arrived with the kids first. I saw him from the parking lot. He held Noah's mittened hand and carried Mila's craft bag. He stood in line for tickets like a patient man. He did not look around for me. He did not look angry. He looked like he already accepted a new version of his life. That made my throat tight, and I hated him for making calm look so easy. Sloane came with me. She said the night would be fun. She asked if I wanted her to film some family content. I said yes because I wanted proof. Proof can be a weapon if you hold it first. Sloane asked if Ethan still refused to talk. I said he refused because he knew he was wrong. Sloane said that men hate being exposed. I said I was done hiding. Inside, the hall smelled like hot chocolate and glue sticks. Kids ran between folding chairs. Teachers smiled too hard. I spotted Tara near a craft table, helping a child with paper stars. She looked tired when she saw me. She asked if I could please keep things calm tonight. I said I was calm, and I said she always confused calm with silence. Tara said Mila had a hard week. I said Mila was strong, and I said kids bounce back. Ethan walked over with Noah. He asked if Noah could do the face paint station. I said yes, like I was generous. He asked if I could stand with Mila for a minute because he needed to speak to the coordinator about a lost scarf. I said he always had tasks like an excuse. He said it was not an excuse, it was a scarf. He left without waiting for my reaction. Sloane leaned close and asked if I wanted to stir things up. I said yes. I told her I was tired of Ethan acting like a saint. I told her he was trying to make me look unstable by being calm. Sloane said calm can be a mask. I said exactly. When Ethan came back, I stood near the snack table where other parents could hear. I asked him if he was enjoying his quiet little act. He asked what I meant. I said he was playing the victim in public and freezing me out in private. He asked if I wanted to talk somewhere else. I said I wanted the truth in the open, because secrets were what ruined families. He looked at the kids and asked if we could focus on them tonight. That answer made me feel dismissed, so I went bigger. I said some husbands love rules more than people. I said some husbands track money like it is love. A few parents looked over. I saw one mom raise her eyebrows, like she remembered the video. Ethan did not flinch. He asked Mila if she wanted to go see the cookie table. Mila said yes, but her eyes stayed low. Ethan walked with her, like he was guiding her out of a storm. Denise arrived late, dressed like it was a party. She hugged me and asked where Ethan was. I pointed at him near the kids. Denise said he looked like a sad man. She said I deserved a husband with fire. I said Ethan only had fire for spreadsheets. Denise laughed too loud. 2 women nearby smiled politely, then turned away. I could feel the room shift, like people were deciding what kind of woman I was. Grant came behind Denise and asked if everyone could just enjoy the night. Denise ignored him. Tara watched from across the room, her mouth tight. Ruth was not there, but she texted Ethan at some point because I saw him glance at his phone and put it away. When he put it away, I noticed a contact icon that was just an emoji. I told myself it was someone dramatic, like a secret friend. Sloane filmed Mila making a paper ornament. She asked Mila to smile. Mila smiled the smallest smile. Ethan noticed the camera and asked Sloane not to post the kids without asking first. Sloane asked why he cared now. Ethan said he always cared, and he said it was about privacy for the children. I stepped in and said he was trying to control my friends. Ethan looked at me and said he was not controlling anyone. He was setting a boundary. That word hit my skin like cold water. Later, a man from the community center asked Ethan for a quick word near the office door. Ethan nodded and went with him. I watched them from a distance. Ethan stood with his hands at his sides, listening. He did not smile. He did not look scared. He looked like a man who knew what documents and rules mean. When he came back, I asked what that was about. He said it was about next month's volunteer schedule for the kids' class. He said he signed up for 2 shifts. I said that was performative. He said it was practical. On the drive home, the kids were quiet. Noah fell asleep in his seat. Mila stared out the window. I asked her if she had fun. She said yes, but her voice was thin. Ethan asked her if anyone said anything about the video again. Mila said one boy asked if we were getting divorced. Ethan asked what she told him. Mila said she told him she did not know. My stomach dropped. Ethan kept his eyes on the road and said they would talk to Mila's teacher on Monday, calmly, so rumors would not follow her. When we got home, Ethan carried Noah inside. I followed, still charged from the night. I told Ethan he embarrassed me by acting like I was dangerous. He asked how he did that. I said he talked to my friends like they were criminals. He said he asked for privacy for the kids. I said he used the kids as a shield. He said he used the kids as a priority. He went into the study and opened his laptop. I stood in the doorway. I saw tabs on the screen for delivery tracking and notary near me. I also saw a plain file tree with folders named Archive A and Archive B. He noticed me looking and closed the laptop without rushing. That calm made me feel like I was the one being childish. I told him he was planning something. He asked what I thought he was planning. I said he was trying to ruin my life because I refused to be small. He said he was trying to keep the children stable and the finances safe. I laughed and said safe for him meant controlled by him. He said he was not going to fight with me tonight. He asked me to stop using the joint accounts for anything that was not the kids or the house. I said the joint accounts were also mine. He reached into a drawer, and I heard a soft click of a lock. He took out his phone and set an alarm. I saw the label for 1 second, paper drop. He turned the phone face down. He looked at me and said he would handle it properly. I went to work on Monday, like I was walking into a stage. I wore my best coat and my sharpest face. I told myself Ethan could not touch me in public. I told myself he would cool off and come back to normal. I even practiced what I would say if anyone asked about the car video. I planned to call it a joke and a moment. In the office tower lobby, the security guard nodded at me like usual. I swiped my badge and checked my phone. My bank app showed the same small balance I had been avoiding. I told myself it was fine. I told myself money always moves around. I told myself Ethan was too soft to do anything serious. A man in a plain jacket stepped toward me near the elevators. He asked if I was Lavinia Whateley. I said yes, and tried to sound bored. He said he had documents for me. I asked what documents. He said he needed to confirm my identity. I said he already did. He asked me to take the envelope. I said he could leave it at the desk. He said he could not. 2 co-workers walked in behind me. One of them slowed down and looked. My throat tightened. The man held the envelope out again. I took it because I did not want a scene. The first page had my name and Ethan's name. The word divorce jumped off the paper like a slap. I told myself it was only a threat. I told myself it was a bluff. My phone buzzed at the same time. A bank alert popped up. It said a restriction was placed on the joint accounts for large transfers. It said dual approval required. For certain actions. I blinked and reread it like it would change. I stepped toward the wall and opened the packet with shaking fingers. I saw a list of dates and amounts tied to our savings. I saw the dealership payment line. I saw my own transfer reference. The page looked clean and cold. like it did not care about my reasons. A line near the top mentioned temporary financial protections. Another part mentioned a temporary parenting plan with exchange times and weekdays. It was written like a schedule for a project, not like a fight. That made it worse because it felt unstoppable. I looked up and saw Ethan through the glass doors near the parking exit. He was outside, calm, with Noah's small backpack in his hand and Mila's hat tucked under his arm. He did not come in, he did not point, he did not smirk. He just looked at me once, then turned his body slightly away, like he was already moving forward. I walked toward the doors, fast. The security guard asked if I was okay. I said yes. My coworker asked what happened. I said it was private. My phone buzzed again with another bank notice, and my hands went cold. I stared at the line with the savings amount and the car payment date, and I understood that my story was not the only story anymore.